Hello everyone. This clip of a Bradley isn't quite as action-packed as others we've looked at lately, but it's an interesting video because first we can see a number of wrecked vehicles lying around, most of them Russian, including our old friend the T-90M. Secondly, this video suggests a bit of a weakness of Russian positions here. The Bradley is operating in Stepove, pushing into the Russian-occupied part of town at will, and no attempt is made to destroy it. This is far from the first Bradley video we've seen here, and so far, there are zero visually confirmed Bradley losses in this area, and I don't think Russia has even claimed to have destroyed a Bradley in this area and failed to provide evidence. So it seems in Stepove, the Bradleys can roam at will, whereas Russia has lost well over 100 vehicles both here and in Krasnohorivka, which is part of the same advance. So I think given from what we can see, it's safe to say that Russia's Avdiivka offensive has pitted out. This Bradley, you can see, is lingering around in the town, at some points even grinding to a complete halt, and still no incoming fire at it. And I'm sure if Russia in this area had the means to hit the Bradley, they would. These are key targets. So if the troops in these areas and near the railway tracks such as nearby, that sort of thing, had RPGs or missile launchers, or even drones that they could call in, or artillery even, they would hit this Bradley if they could. So I think it's quite telling that the Bradley can operate without being destroyed. Now let's check some screenshots. Now some of these losses we've seen before on various videos and photos. Most of them are Russian losses, destroyed during their many attempts to push into Stepove. Some of them are victims of a Bradley. If I remember right, we've seen 2 BMPs and an MTLB get destroyed by Bradley in the area of Stepove. Not to mention the T-90M we looked at a couple of days ago. Not every loss will be because of the Bradleys. We've also seen drone, missile and artillery strikes on targets around here as well. In this first screenshot, there are 2 abandoned vehicles. Now, these don't show up on war spotting, so these could be new losses or ones that just haven't been added yet. But on the map on the bottom right, the Bradley is roughly in the area of the red box. And as you can see, no destroyed vehicles are noted in these positions just north of it. So these ones here are more than likely new losses. Seen here is an abandoned tank and a BMP whose federer has fallen off. Now, the abandoned one I don't recall seeing before, and again I checked war spotting and it's not shown up there either. So this could again be another new recent loss, or an old one just not documented. But given the amount of videos we have from here, I'm sure we would have seen it before now. Given the direction it's heading, it could be a Ukrainian tank, but I'm not aware of Ukrainian tanks operating in Stepove itself. They use Bradleys, so I think this more than likely a Russian one which was retreating. For orientation here, the BMP with a missing federer is highlighted in red. Here are another vehicle seen in the trees. This is a BMP Variant. And another vehicle here, not seen on war spotting, just outside of Stepove. This one might be a Ukrainian one, given both its position and its orientation facing towards the east. So I do think this is a Ukrainian loss which we're looking at here. Finally, here is our old friend with T-90M, which fell victim to Bradleys a few days ago and tasted their steel. Despite this not being hugely damaged and potentially repairable, I can't see Russia being able to recover this, as they clearly have little control over Stepove. These are the Bradley's hunting grounds, and any vehicle sent to recover it is going to be a sitting duck, I think. This Bradley's patrol was like so, pushing up just beyond the T-90M, which is now basically a landmark, reaching the red dot on the map. On deep states, it reached roughly the area of the red box, which ties in with what deep state shows as Russian occupied. However, the fact that the Bradley could patrol around here for a while, remember, far from the first time we've seen Bradleys patrolling Stepove like this, makes me think that Russia doesn't have fully control over eastern Stepove. There seems little actual Russian presence in the area. We saw the video, no signs of Russian troops at all, although saying that the Bradley was engaging positions of some sort. And with all the buildings pretty much destroyed here, there's not really anywhere they could be hiding. I think it better to class Eastern Stepove as part of a grey zone. It's also interesting, as mentioned, that no artillery or drones or missiles attempted to hit the Bradley whilst it was patrolling. I definitely get the feeling that the Russian push and presence here is weakening after months of losses. Before we check the losses, zoomed out slightly, you can see capturing Stepove would be the next step of Russia's push from Krasnohorivka, part of the attempt to encircle Avdiivka. Now the losses. In and around Stepove itself, war spotting is showing 55 Russian vehicles destroyed, a good mix of tanks and armoured fighting vehicles such as BMPs. The most recent one was the T-72 from the 18th of January. In Krasnohorivka, a massive 114 lost, so over 150 vehicles confirmed destroyed in this push in the area highlighted here, the northern flank of the Avdiivka offensive. So, big losses here, and I have to wonder if because of high losses the Russian offensive is nearing its end. They've ground to a halt pretty much outside Stepove, and made little progress at all in the southern part of the encirclement. And as seen in this video of the Bradley stalking its territory at will, there also now seems to be an inability to pick off Ukrainian vehicles. Saying that, they do keep making probes and small pushes in the area, but nothing like what we saw back in October. So let's have a look at deep states to see what Russia has gained during this Avdiivka offensive. We'll go back in time to early October, about the time the Russian offensive began, so you can see the situation as it was then. Skipping forward to the end of October, so you can see around Krasnohorivka, in that month, Russia managed to push basically towards the railway line and secure positions there, and also start pushing towards the spoil heap, but don't have control of it. Here, end of November, small gains on the northern flank of the encirclement, but nothing to make a song and dance about. And end of December here, a few minor gains. And finally, here today. So it seems the attempt to encircle Avdiivka is definitely winding down. Things have become pretty much a stalemate here, with no further gains by Russia into Stepove for a while. And as we saw, over 150 confirmed vehicle losses in this northern part of the offensive. And all that for what gains? A few fields, basically. Certainly, no settlements have been captured. Russia's basically captured a handful of vehicles to the north and the spoil heap. Admittedly, the spoil heap does give them an elevated position, so it is a good place to capture. But overall, big losses for very little gains. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Now, I'm going to give a mention of a new fundraiser. Now, before we finish, a short fundraiser here for Yegor from Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade. We did a couple of fundraisers for him last year to replace damaged spotter drones. Now he's requested some funds to help with FPV drone training, so his unit can operate these drones better. His PayPal link is in the description. Big thanks to everyone who can help out, and take care everyone.